The next illusion we actually built while we were on tour. All throughout Europe, we had a team of builders, and we'd change cities every week and sometimes twice a week, and we'd set up a shop backstage, and we'd build the next illusion. And it went through so many incarnations. We had many different versions, and we had ghosts that would come out of boxes and outside of skylights that would be on stage. We'd have ghosts that would do all kinds of crazy things, touching people, and a lot of trial and error. But having this traveling workshop was a real nightmare for us. What you see in the final result is what we narrowed down, we ended up with after it was audience tested for a year. This photograph was from a book called Painted Ladies, which is a book of Victorian houses. And we doctored the photograph and created this kind of backstory with this footage of this house of ill repute. And we got a letter from these people who own the house. And when the letter arrived, we thought, oh my gosh, they're going to sue us. But they wanted some autographed pictures and, a meet and greet backstage. So we were very lucky. We created this in the computer, this burnt version of the house, and that cupola, that little section of the house there that became the essence, the illusion part of the piece. And you'll see that on stage right now. Instead of legs below it, we had pieces of wood, pieces of timber blocking it up, so there was clearance underneath. This amazing set by John Schaffner and Joe Stewart, this big kind of warehouse set with the a big hole in the background for a lot of depth. That sky in the background can change moods and colors. And kind of art directed the inside of this section of the house, so you can see through it and underneath it and around it. The first section of this routine is kind of a takeoff, a version of a classic piece of magic. Willard the Wizard, a very famous tent show magician, used to do a spirit cabinet. Many magicians, from Dante to Thurston to Keller, did a spirit cabinet routine, since that was a very big theme through the early 1900s. Where you get tied up with ropes, tied to a chair, and spirits would manifest themselves and appear around you. There was a great belief in spirits and ghosts and demons, and that was a very big theme of magic shows at the turn of the century. Not so much today. I always searched for a way of using that theme in my magic, and when I heard about this legend of a house of ill repute, having the ghosts be ladies of the evening suddenly piqued my attention for some reason.
And I want you to tie them very tight around my neck in a double knot, not quite as tight as you tied around my wrists. This is the Madonna starter kit.
I get tied up quite thoroughly.
Examine the room.
And instead of having a spirit cabinet, which is usually a wooden box or a curtain cabinet, we set this piece inside pieces from the house of ill repute, the Barclay House, that legend has it the spirits were still inside.
And after you've done that, check the knots in my back and my neck. Make sure they're still secure. And once you're satisfied, stand outside the room, so you can see around the sides and behind, making it impossible for anyone to enter or leave the room. Now, no self-respecting spirit would show themselves in the light, so we're going to create a little darkness with this curtain and see if we can make the spirits manifest themselves inside the room.
All of us on tour spent a lot of time art directing these things. Homer Lewag did an excellent job making drawing after drawing of how this house should look. He's done a lot of the industrial design, a lot of collaboration on the magic too. Ted Blumberg has been assisting me for many, many years, collaborating on the writing. And
Thank you very much.
yeah, this you never knew what to expect either. It's one of those cases where it was different every show.
Spirits. Move the coat. Now's the time we invite someone to join me inside the room.
Doing this on the road was a lot of fun. We even did this in our Broadway show,
Jonathan, over here, Jonathan, have a seat.
which is great. The Broadway show is at the Martin Beck Theater in New York, which was kind of ironic because Martin Beck was Houdini's manager. So a theater that he built, and years before he had managed Harry Houdini, and that was the place that I made my Broadway debut.
Maybe I should be the one to
In magic, things go wrong all the time, and usually we have a plan B or a plan C to get out of problems. With this piece, there's a million things that can happen differently. A million things can go wrong. And everything possible has gone wrong with this. Doors have broken off, people do the wrong things, anything can happen. So this we had maybe 4 or 5 ways of getting out of problems for each and everything that could go wrong.
Everybody step down here. Check the ropes in my back. Make sure
When I borrowed the guy's coat, we'd check in the pockets for things, and we found everything from toothbrushes to tampons to just the weirdest things in people's coats, what people carry around to the show.
Knots around my wrists. I'm enjoying this too much. Thanks, kid. Everybody give our gentleman a big round of applause.
I love the last scene of Carrie, the movie Carrie, where Sissy Spacek's character is now dead, destroyed. She's been imploded upon in her house. And there's a pile of rubble where her house once was, and a little sign saying Carrie, lies in hell, pointing with an arrow pointing down. And Amy Irving's character walks up to there with flowers, and she puts the flowers down on Carrie's house grave, and the hand reaches out of the ground and grabs her, and the whole audience goes and jumps. And this little moment is really based on my love of that moment, trying to get something similar to work on stage. And it's pretty good. Some people jumped. It worked. Especially in the live show.
I need all of you to come down here, please. Step down here. Exactly. Because now's the time I invite all
Taking audience members and placing them in jeopardy was kind of a premise that I'd never seen before.
This whole thing. This is for you. Step right inside.
So that's what we're going to do.
Blindfold for you. Step inside. And this is a parting gift for you. Step right inside. Once you're inside, put on your blindfolds, please, because we're going to add one more element. These curtains were taken from the house before the fire. They're an item the spirits are familiar with, and we're going to use them to enclose ourselves.
This is the end result to all our experimentation with ghosts. We did so many things, tried everything, and the simplest seemed to be the best. And again, it's one of our long, continuous magic shots, pyro everywhere, timed, fire going up the back side of it. You can see on the back, on the front. You see underneath the thing, and it opens front doors first, so you see the back boundary, back door last, totally empty. People having vanished. Now the next moment is a really funny story. This explosion is real. There's about 17 firemen on stage right now, off camera, to allow us to do that. And, my God, and the ghosts that fly, we tested in the theater without people, and they were to fly about 3 or 4 feet over their heads. But with people in the audience, the first rehearsal, when we did it, the ghosts kept hitting the audience in the forehead, hitting right in the face, because the heat of the audience made them go lower and hit the people, boom, 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 in their heads. So this is after a few more experiments. We didn't take the body heat of the audience into consideration. And this is totally cool. This is an invention of myself and my team. It's a production which is really, I think, quite good. Table, it's 2 inches thick. Lights all the way around. Nothing anywhere. Back curtains go down. And you can see everything. You can inspect the inside of the box and the outside of the box. There's nothing anywhere. Nothing. Curtain is a thin curtain. And again, my love of silhouettes. The hardest thing is simple things, to arrive at a simple solution. Going from one light to the other, inside. I think we were in the middle of Mexico City when we found that this production could work. And that is pretty good. And that's my little salute to ghosts and spirits. All the music during the piece was all Bernard Herrmann music, who did all the Psycho music, and not this music you're hearing now, but all the rest of the piece was based on that.